Hello, everybody, and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am TheOutbackAl.
I'm hot for justice.
I'm Yin&Jung.
I'm Chibi New.
I'm Envy Jitters.
I'm CheerandCosplay. And I'm alone tonight.
And
Okay.
that's it, I guess. All right, so it's still the new year, as if it could go backwards, and we're moving along. We're watching Summer Wars today. We watched Summer Wars for today, and real quick before I forget, I wanted to take a quick second because the last couple podcasts I was bringing up, because we were talking about Satoshi Kon, I was bringing up that he bought the rights to Perfect Blue so that he could copy a scene for Black Swan. That is incorrect. The scene that he bought the rights to Perfect Blue for was in Requiem for a Dream. It's just that Black Swan is very much just Perfect Blue. That's why I got
makes
confused.
sense.
He vehemently denies that he based Black Swan on Perfect Blue, but
I don't know.
you love that movie so much that you bought the rights to it because you had to take a scene from it and recreate it in another movie. I guarantee you, subconsciously or consciously, you based Black Swan on Perfect Blue.
It had to be.
Yeah. Too many similarities. Anywho, this movie, Summer Wars, is based on another movie that I very much enjoy, Digimon. And well, I don't know. I don't know what the whole story is behind it, but I think it's generally accepted that our war game, the Digimon OVA, that was from the same director as this, was the prototype. Mamoru Hosoda. Yeah, he directed that. He worked on the Digimon series and a couple other things. We've seen some of his other movies, like Girl Who Leapt Through Time and Wolf Children, some stuff like that. We haven't watched, I don't think, any of the other ones
Belle.
for Anime Yay or Nay, but Belle was the recent one that came out, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it just came out.
So who just showed up?
Hi, I'm Kozi.
Okay, cool. So we're talking about Summer Wars and all that. You guys saw Belle recently.
Yes.
We
No
just saw
spoilers,
last
haven't
weekend.
seen it yet.
It's very pretty.
Very pretty.
Oh, that's nice. I do
Nice.
like this guy's art style a lot, and it's actually really interesting. Like the first time I saw Digimon the movie, and this guy's art style was in there, which is starkly different from the series. I was like, oh, this is different. I kind of like it though. So, plot. We should talk about plot a little bit, and among some other things, plot, characters, all that sort of stuff. So, it's about a kid who gets is honestly living out a fan fiction a little bit. He got roped into being someone's pretend fiance at their family gathering for their great grandmother's 90th birthday.
And this was a huge family event.
Oh yeah, the whole family is showing up, and it's honestly, it's kind of like my mom's side of the family a little bit. Like, one of 7 kids, and each of them has 3 to 5 kids, and some of them have kids, and it's I'm not gonna remember any of you.
Yep.
That's
pretty much.
that's what the kid's thinking. That's also genuinely what I think at some family reunions. I genuinely wait until someone's like, "Hey, go say hi to your aunt blank or your cousin blank," and I say, "Hi, cousin blank."
Or you
Don't
go
need
see,
to remember
or
you.
you go,
You live in Missouri.
or you go see someone and they say, "Oh, I remember you when you were a baby," and you have no idea who the hell they are.
Probably because you haven't seen them since you were a baby, but I don't know. Could be any number of things.
The last event I had where it was a massive family gathering, I found out a girl that we mutually hated each other in middle school was my cousin.
Oh.
How far removed? First cousin? Second? Third? Cousin by marriage?
I think it would be third cousin.
Okay, that's fine. I don't know who my third cousins are.
I know.
You're not
a
my
few.
third cousin, right? No, no.
Not.
You're not from around here. Yeah, so he's meeting all the family, and the grandma, I love the grandma in this. She's very cool. And, there's a bunch of aunts, uncles, and cousins. Well, actually, not that many cousins. Mostly aunts and uncles for the most part. Most of the cousins are children, other than the one who's a weird police officer who I think has a thing for his cousin.
I feel like that's why she felt the pressure of having to bring someone.
Maybe. Also, she's kind of into her uncle who isn't there. Little
Yeah,
weird,
I forgot
but okay.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a thing. We'll
That's
get
a
there.
thing.
But yeah, anyway, the kid gets an email in the middle of the night with a long code in it, and he's a mathlete, so he decides, oh, it's a problem, it's an equation. I'm gonna try to solve it. So he spends all night solving it. Gets locked out of his Oz account. We should mention what Oz is. It's basically Facebook, Amazon, YouTube, every
It's
sort of
the
streaming
metaverse.
service, tax service. It's everything. It's
No.
the internet, but everything.
It's the metaverse.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
No. We'll get into the issues of having anything even remotely as big as that in the real world. But yeah, it's an online platform that people can do virtually anything in the virtual world with. So he's an admin or a moderator
Is this
or a
one
code
also
monkey.
body sharing?
No,
No.
I don't think so.
They're avatars for their internet personas, but that's about it. Yeah, he gets hacked along with a bunch of other people's accounts, and someone takes over control of Oz and starts really wreaking havoc on a couple of different things, and then people are like, oh, we gotta fix this, and the kid's especially invested because he's like, oh, everyone thinks I'm a cyber terrorist and that I did this. And so yeah, they're trying to figure all that out. Problem is the profile, the avatar, the thing keeps getting stronger and stronger. Turns out it's not actually a person, it's an AI called Love Machine that was created by the uncle that we mentioned earlier, who shows up for the family reunion. He's Grandma's husband's illegitimate son, which makes him our
Half-uncle?
heroine's great uncle. Yeah.
Great half-uncle.
Yes, great half uncle. Yeah.
Half-grunkle.
A half grunkle. Half grunkle was Wasabi? No, wait, what was his name?
Okay. So she got confused about the half and probably thought it was step.
I mean, he was adopted into the family, sure, but that's not.
a little better.
No, he is a blood relative a little bit.
Never mind.
They have
No,
the same.
I'm just saying she
his
got
dad is her
confused.
grandfather.
She was
So.
like, half. That's the one we can fuck, right? Like, no.
You can't do any of that. Let's just not go there. Anywho, all that aside, there's also a kid who's a really good gamer who has a rabbit fighting guy who's a little bit more of a mascot for this movie. And this virus decides to start messing with as many things as it possibly can, because apparently it likes games. It was kind of programmed to collect information and to keep finding information. So it's basically it's a bot that just hacks and hacks and hacks, trying to get more information no matter what it has to do to get it. And for some reason, it seems to like games and fighting and stuff like that. So it starts playing games with traffic lights, electrical systems, EMS type signals and calls and stuff like that. For some reason, the only thing it doesn't seem to affect is phone lines, which at this point in 2009, when this came out, probably had something to do with the internet as well. I mean, a little weird that the other than Grandma's like rotary hardline phone is like a landline phone. I feel like that'd be the only one working at this point. Your cell network should be down. But yeah, he's basically wreaking havoc on the infrastructure. It's kind of up to everybody to kind of band together to try to get through the situation. And the grandma is pulling a lot of work because they're like, the family's connected. Like, they're not rich anymore, but they were connected for years, and she's like making calls to every single person she's ever met. She's calling people like, "Oh, can we bury the hatchet? I punched you 50 years ago. Can't we get over this by now?" To get basically the entire country back up and running. Which, yeah, I think that was really great that they were doing all that. There's a baseball game going on in the background, which doesn't really matter in the long run, I don't think. But hey, good for them. They won. Anyway, at a certain point...
Then it gets the nukes.
Yeah, well, they sort of gets the nukes. They got the nukes in Digimon, not this one, technically. Grandma dies. We should mention that. That really sucked after she kicked the uncle out. But yeah, she had a nice moment with everybody, and then she kicks the bucket. Very sad. Very sad moment for everybody. But the virus is still doing its thing. And they brought up this satellite that was supposed to throw out a deep space probe that failed to launch the probe. And now the virus is holding it basically up in the upper atmosphere. And it's going to drop it on a nuclear power station. And there's like 500 of them across the globe. So they have no idea which one it's going to be. Which is a pretty bad situation. I mean, Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island, take your pick. You gotta have a bad time. Even if it's just one, that's a bad thing that's going to happen.
I mean,
So
you
they're
gonna
trying
count
to...
that as a nuke?
It's not a nuke in the same sense as a nuclear missile launch kind of deal. That's all I'm saying. Like, there was a missile launch in Digimon. That was their thing. They had to change it up. This time, it's basically a meteor hitting a nuclear reactor.
So it would be worse than a nuke.
Well, it's arguably the same sort of fallout, I assume, but... I don't know. I'd have to talk to a nuclear physicist or engineer or something to know what the actual fallout for something like that would be. None of it's good.
Nope.
But... yeah, so they have to figure out how to stop the virus. So the younger cousin is like, I'm going to fight him, but I need a better way to fight him. Well, we're going to pool all the resources of a lot of this family. We're going to get a supercomputer from a university. We're going to get a boat that generates electricity to power it. We're going to get a ton of ice, and we know a guy who works for the self-defense force, so he can get us a super high-speed satellite internet connection. Again, a little bit like Izzy from Digimon. I'm pretty sure he that was pretty illegal what he did. But, yeah. We're breaking the laws for good reasons, I guess. And they start fighting this thing. But the cop cousin's an idiot. Took out the ice from the supercomputer, and the thing fried. So they weren't able to beat him. He absorbs like 400 million profiles from across the world and has all the power of all these different avatars and the personal information and administrative powers of every single one of them. So it's like, yeah, he can control basically anything connected to this website that is connected to literally everything. Terrible idea. Terrible idea. Why you never want to have this many systems going through a single thing. It's such a bad idea.
You would think there would be a plug they could pull somewhere.
No, you can't pull a plug, because like for something to be that size, it has to have servers like everywhere. So even if you pull the actual physical plug on some servers one place, it's already in another place. You literally have to shut down power to every server everywhere at the same time. I don't know that it's possible.
10-second blackout.
Across the planet?
Yeah.
Do you know how to coordinate that, especially when your infrastructure's already fucked up?
Soft
sure.
reset.
I don't
I
think it
saw
can be done.
Revolution.
I don't
I
think it
mean,
can be
come
done.
on, come
It
on.
can't be
It's
done.
the most
It can't be done.
the
It can't be done.
basic solution.
Can't be
Did they
done.
try turning it on and off
It
again?
can't be done. Anyway, they decide what's the best way to beat something that wants to play games. We'll gamble with it. So they play Hanafuda poker. I don't really entirely know how the game works. Go fish, maybe? Something like that. It's called koi koi. You know what? A koi is a fish. I think it's Japanese go fish. Yeah. That's what I'm going with. So they play go fish, and they start to get some profiles back, but they don't have enough. And eventually everyone from around the world's like, here, use my profile, use my avatar, use all this stuff. So it's like everyone in the world comes together to beat this giant blob of information on the internet. And they finally do it. They succeed, except he still has two profiles. The one that he hacked from the kid, and the one that's controlling the guidance system on this deep space probe that he has now launched into the atmosphere. But it's not going towards any sort of nuclear facility. It's going right at the house of the people who just fucked with him. And I'm like, you are a petty bitch. I kind of love it.
Yes.
It's like, I could cause a lot of destruction, or I could fuck just you. And he's like, I'm going to fuck just you.
Fuck this house in particular.
Oh, yeah. So everyone's like, we got to get out of here. But they're like, hey, we haven't lost yet. They got like 10 minutes, and the kid has to recrack every single code for the password thing, which is like super math that he has to do in like 5 minutes. He gets in. The thing changes the password. He has to do it all over again. He gets in. thing changes the password. He's got about 30 seconds, and he does all this math. The first time, it took him a whole night. Second time, it took him like a couple hours. Then it took him, it's getting faster and faster, but he does it all in his head so much, I'm pretty sure his brain hemorrhaged. And that was what his nose was bleeding for. He figures it out. He gets in. Rabbit fighter dude comes in, punches the guy out, and they stop the thing from happening. They gave the probe a little extra too much GPS data, and it goes off course just enough not to hit the house. It also makes a hot spring, apparently. They found a hot spring by the house, so good for them. They're going to be rich again. That's the movie. Everybody's happy. Everybody wins. The uncle came back to help shut down the program and all that sort of stuff. And the fake fiancé may, in fact, be becoming the real fiancé. Good for them. Summer Wars. I like this movie.
Yeah, I do too.
This is a fun movie.
So this week I was tricked into watching anime war games, which I'm not mad about. I like war games.
Say that
It's
again?
about like war games. War games?
Yeah, war games.
Yeah. That's this movie.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah. Have you seen Digimon? I know you weren't with us whenever we were doing that one.
CC does not Digimon.
CC doesn't Digimon. Well, me and CC are less friends now. But that's not neither here nor there.
I did watch some Digimon at daycare,
Uh-huh.
but I did not like the fact that they could, like, unevolve. Like, that was emotional times in Pokemon, and then in Digimon they could just, like, undo it.
Well, you were apparently never there whenever they had a new Digivolve form.
Yeah, the Digivolve form is always temporary. It's not like an actual evolution.
Yeah. They adapt.
I could not comprehend
they become
that at
exactly
age
what they need to
5,
be
so...
in whatever situation that they need to be. It's a little inconvenient at a certain point to have a 3-story tall dinosaur.
Hey, it is always convenient to have Greymon.
Greymon is great. But sometimes he'd like to come inside. That's my thoughts on it.
Just build a higher house.
Oh my god, we're not getting into this. Anywho, Summer Wars. So, yeah, like, this is just one of those movies where it's kind of like, I like the characters, I like the family, I like the art style again, I'm a fan of this guy's work. It's very fun.
It's a very feel-good movie.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, besides Grandma kicking the bucket.
Well, yes, of course, but,
I would also have to say, this is probably one of the happier endings for Mirai Studios. Normally it is not quite this well-rounded out, where everyone gets to go home happy at the end of the day.
For which studio?
The studio that made the film. Like, the guy directed it. He worked at the
Madhouse?
studio.
Mirai Studio is specifically Mamoru, I think his name is.
I think it was after
Oh.
this movie he started doing with Mirai. I think you're right. Madhouse did do this movie.
Yeah, this was Madhouse.
Okay, regardless, Mirai is Mamoru himself, so it's just he gets to stamp the girl who jumped through time on everything.
I like that one too.
Yeah, that was good. And The Boy and the Beast and Wolf Children were good as well.
Yeah, we're looking through his filmography a little bit. It's not super long, but it's got good stuff on it.
I feel like most of his stuff is very, like, notable. Like, it's very well known.
Like, a lot of his early stuff, again, Digimon, a One Piece, and then it's just a bunch of movies that are just good shit.
I'm sorry, he did a One Piece movie?
One Piece, Baron Omatsuri and the Secret Island. He was also a key animator on Yu Yu Hakusho movies, a couple Sailor Moon things, Slam Dunk, a bunch of Dragon Ball Z, and he did the opening for Samurai Champloo. Yeah, no, I like this guy's work. I think it's kind of interesting because, like, his first. I think he was inspired to do animation because he watched The Castle of Cagliostro, the Ghibli movie. And I kind of feel like his style is a little bit influenced by, like, Miyazaki and Ghibli a little bit. Not like a one-to-one kind of thing, but, like, you can kind of see in, like, he has really expressive characters. Like, whether it's really big emotional expressions or, like, really subtle ones that I feel like him and Ghibli tends to do really well. And he was actually, for a short amount of time, he was supposed to direct Howl's Moving Castle. But the Ghibli was basically like, we need you to do this exactly like Miyazaki, and he wanted to do it how he wanted to do it, and early on in production, he was like, yeah, no, I can't make this movie the way you want me to make this movie. So, which I feel like we've brought up a couple times in the last couple of weeks with, like Satoshi Kon, how Dream Machine isn't going to get made because they can't find another director to do what Satoshi Kon was doing. I kind of feel like that's a bit of a thing that's going to be going on with Ghibli. They keep trying to get people to make Miyazaki movies who aren't Miyazaki, and I think it's going to be a problem for them later on.
I think they said he's coming out of retirement for a movie again.
Yeah, because every time he retires, he comes back as soon as Goro fucks something up.
Well, it's like a passion project for him. It's based on a manga that he grew up reading, and he's, going to do a hand draw everything. He's not going to use digital, and he's been working on the film. Well, he's been working on the film for 3 years now, or 4 years, and they're not even halfway done.
That makes sense, but...
have you seen the man? He has no passion projects anymore.
Well, he's also 80.
He 81.
He is peak. I wish I was dead already.
And that's kind of a bit of an issue that I think the studio's going to run. I kind of wanted to bring this up at like next week, but because we were going to do a Ghibli thing, but I might as well like bring it up here while we're talking about it. I'm a little concerned with what's going to happen with Ghibli in the next couple of years, because I don't want to be like, we know Miyazaki's not going to be here forever. And I really feel like their entire strategy from the beginning has been make the Miyazaki movies, and anyone else who's not Miyazaki, make a movie exactly like Miyazaki does. And it doesn't always work. And when it doesn't, they try to backtrack and just be like, okay, Miyazaki, make another thing. And
his son is more than capable of taking over.
Yeah, but
Miyazaki just fucking hates him.
He's only directed 4 things.
Because Miyazaki fucking hates him.
Well, whether or not that's a thing or not, he doesn't have a great track record with Ghibli, and I think a big thing of it is because everyone wants him to be his father. And he's not. And I think it's kind of the same thing that they had with Hosoda from this movie, where they're like, we want you to do this exactly like this guy. And he's like, I can't make a Miyazaki movie. I can only make one of my movies.
I mean, I will say, though, they did do, before they shut down, and I know they did Earwig a couple years ago, but like before that, they did The Tale of Princess Kaguya and When Marnie Was There, and those weren't directed by Miyazaki, and they were
No, he doesn't direct everything. He does, honestly, Kaguya, which I'm just going to say we're going to watch next week. I wanted to talk about it there, but Kaguya doesn't look like any other Ghibli movie. And,
but it's so pretty.
It is. But at the same time, I don't think Ghibli wants to make a ton of movies like that all the time, because Kaguya did not make money. Like, weirdly enough, it had a budget of like $49 million and only made like 52. Like, it does not do well.
Probably a lot of it was that some people look at it and they don't see any action, or they don't see any big fantastical things, so they get turned off.
I hear you,
even though it's so pretty,
The same
year, it also suffers from, like, it's considered kind of like a cult classic now, but like, it was just the wrong time for it to be released.
I gotta tell you, here's the thing, the same year it came out, Miyazaki's 2013 movie, The Wind Rises, came out. Also, not action-y.
Yeah.
And not, in my opinion, not particularly one of his better ones.
Last movie.
Yeah,
of course it was. Why. But yeah, again, it $30 million budget, made $136 million.
I think it looks like classic Ghibli, though. I think a lot of people probably didn't even know Princess Kaguya was the Studio Ghibli movie.
When I first saw it, I didn't think so either, but like...
So I think that might be one of the reasons why people didn't go see it, even though it's great in its own right. I think people were like, I don't even think this is a Ghibli movie, you know?
But I think that's going to be like a problem for them later on, because I feel like their whole strategy is make everything look like Hayao did it. And the moment Hayao's gone, it's going to be a real problem because they're going to keep trying to have people become him, and it's going to be a problem. I think every time we've seen a failure from Goro, it's because he's trying to be his dad.
But that one, didn't he make that one that was good about the
from,
little romance?
He made from Up on Poppy Hill. That's
good.
One of my favorites.
And
I really like it.
It looked like Miyazaki.
But here's the thing. How many people actually talk about that movie?
I think everybody who's seen it likes it, but I think it's one of those quiet movies like The Wind Rises that people don't talk about as much because it's not fantastical.
I get that, but it's like I don't know. I think they've gotten to the point where they bank so much on him and haven't been willing enough to like maybe adapt or try some new things every now and then that at a certain point.
They tried with Earwig. I think, like, there's nothing wrong with keeping the classic style that Miyazaki has going.
No, I'm not saying that,
but,
you can
branch out, but I think, like, the style of the animation's fine.
I'm not entirely just talking about the style of the animation stuff. I'm kind of, like, I think maybe they should try to have someone with a different voice other than Miyazaki. Or have someone trying to be Miyazaki again. I think they did that with Kaguya, and to some degree it was a bit of a financial failure. And I think they backtracked. I don't think they're going to make a Kaguya again. Which, I mean, they can't because the guy, that was Takahata's last movie.
Well, yeah.
So, which, by the way, I know Rotten Tomatoes is not the perfect metric for everything, but there's only 3 movies from Ghibli that actually have 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's... Actually, I need to find the third one. It's Grave of the Fireflies, Kaguya, and...
It's Spirited Away, right?
No, not Spirited Away.
Oh, wow.
Only Yesterday. Miyazaki didn't make any of them. They were all Takahata.
I'd like to know the one critic that gave it a negative review to make it below 100%.
Yeah.
Spirited Away sits at like 97, I think.
Miyazaki in particular.
What'd you say?
Nothing.
Oh, you're saying the critic was like, I hate Miyazaki so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyways,
but like even Grave of the Fireflies, like I feel like everyone thinks that's a Miyazaki. I think it's like Nightmare Before Christmas. Everyone thinks it's a Tim Burton movie. It's not, even though he slapped his name on it. Have I tangented too much?
A little.
I feel like this
you
was
gotta
why I
save
wanted
some
to
material for next week.
I wanted to save this for next week, but we were going into it, so. Whatever.
It's okay.
So Summer Wars. What else? I don't feel like we've heard from Gav or Chibi.
I'm sorry, my cat's been distracting me.
What did you think of the movie?
I mean, it's fine. I liked it. That's about it. Visuals are cool.
Mm.
Glowing review right there.
I mean,
you're the person who gives it 97.
I guess the thing with me is just the fact that, like, as far as, like, movies and, like, genres I like, this isn't, like, my typical taste. Like, it's a good movie, don't get me wrong, but it's not something, like, I'm gonna gravitate towards, like, all the time to go back and watch. So, like, I don't know. To me, anything that kind of falls out of my wheelhouse is kind of like, this was good. That was good. That's it.
I mean, I like it. I've seen it multiple times now. I like the rabbit avatar person. Like, I forget what they call the rabbit avatar.
King Kazuma?
Yeah.
Gav, would you have more to say if you were able to find a place to watch it before this?
No, I watched it.
Oh, you did? You did
yeah.
find something?
Yeah. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I feel like we talked about it before on like Anime Airnay. I could have sworn we did.
Summer Wars?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, we've mentioned it in passing. I don't think we've ever gone on a deep topic about it, but we have mentioned it before.
We probably talked about it when we were talking about Digimon.
Oh, no, yeah, I definitely brought it up then, but I don't think I went into any, like, extreme detail.
Yeah, I don't know, but anyway, I always like the like animation for this movie a lot. Like I definitely think that they did a good job with that. I think Oz like looks really cool, and that's probably one of my favorite parts of the movie. For sure, is like just everything having to do with Oz. And yeah, I mean, I can't really think of much to say that hasn't already been said, but like
I do like with
I
the.
did think
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I did think the thing with the uncle was weird.
A little bit, yeah.
Every single time I'm like, okay, you have like a bit of like an uncle complex. But yeah, go ahead, Envy.
I was gonna say I do like that. You know, with such a big family with so many supporting characters, obviously you're not going to give them every single time to flesh them out. But I do like how each one is distinct in their own way, and you kind of root for them in their own way. It's just it's like one of those situational comedies where like there's like 1,000 people, and like yeah, you're only gonna know them for like a few seconds. So like their personality quirk is their trait, but yet it's still charming in its own right.
Yeah, I like that too.
And also for the uncle, I completely forgot about that angle with the niece and everything. But I remember we watched this in Anime Club right after or near we watched Steins Gate. So like I was on a J. Michael Tatum kick, and well, he plays the uncle, so that's always a plus.
Another mad scientist.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that I did want to bring up, just a small bit of trivia. They mentioned that this rogue AI was made in a lab in Pittsburgh, and the news report later said that it was from Carnegie Mellon. So,
Jeez.
Yeah,
and
that was a thing.
No, that tracks.
if I
CMU is making the face tracking for the government. So,
oh, now I'm terrified.
So they had a shot of the uncle, presumably at Carnegie Mellon, and I found the spot where he was.
Oh,
like, it's a real. It's by the College of Fine Arts lawn, and I think it's facing the. I don't know how to pronounce this. Kresge Theater. Kresge, whatever. But like the arches and stuff behind him, that's what that building is, and I'm like, I've walked past that, so you know.
My uncle went to college
CMU.
there. I should show him that.
Yeah, I did not go to CMU. I am nowhere near smart enough to get in there. But I have walked past it, and I have seen that spot. I've been like, oh my god, I've been to a place where an anime was. Sort of.
I've walked past the building.
I have walked past that building. It's a lovely campus.
Gotta go take a field trip.
Yeah. So, that was just kind of fun. Because, like, I know, we did watch this. We watched this one year in Anime Club, and we actually, like, got the campus theater to show it, and like I don't remember how many people were there, but as soon as they said, the evil virus was made in Pittsburgh, everyone we kind of went, oh yeah, oh whoa. We were kind of like, oh, we're kind of proud to be like talked about a little bit in this anime, but at the same time, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Yay,
but no, it completely tracks.
You know what? I'll take that. I'll take the mention.
Well, you know what else too? I don't know if you guys have ever played this game, the first Last of Us. There's a part in the game that takes place in Pittsburgh, and you can actually see famous landmarks and famous parts in the city. And I was playing the game, and I was like, I've been there.
It's actually like the worst section of the game.
No, but I loved it. I was like, oh, I'm like at home.
I'm going to play that now.
So I have not seen this since we watched it in club. So I just kind of spark noted it today at work. And one of the IMDb, like, I think, words are hard.
The IMDb.
IMDb, like the
trivia
user accounts. It wasn't like a professional wrote this. I think it was just some random person with an account wrote a synopsis. And their whole, like, plot summary was just nerdy kid from high school gets a summer job to be close to his crush. I'm like, that is not how I would describe this movie.
No.
I mean, it's
It
kind of
kinda.
accurate.
Yeah, it's
They're
kind of.
not wrong, but, like, that's not...
Yeah, it's
how I
not the
would
main
describe
plot
that?
of the movie, but it does happen in the movie.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to go into this expecting like a cheesy rom-com.
What was that one thing that was like a thing for a while? Poorly described popular movies.
Yes.
And it was like a disgruntled dad pisses everybody off with his rock collection. And that was Infinity War.
I will say though, the main couple are kind of cute together. I will give them that.
Yeah. They remind me of Matt and Sora from Digimon. Except I hate how they ended up.
I think part of what makes these movies so great is the differentiation in the animation between Oz and the real world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Oz feels more high tech because like it's all smooth, even animation.
The colors are a lot brighter and more saturated as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he comes back out to the real world and like he makes the people very human. Like
Yeah.
they move like people do.
Yeah. That's part of the reason I like this guy's animation. I think I already mentioned like the expressions and the like everyone is very emotive in like a really organic and realistic way. Like you can tell like I almost feel like I actually wouldn't mind trying this. Some movies you can turn the sound off and still completely tell what's going on based on what the actors are doing or what the animation's doing. I might be a little lost on the details, but I feel like this is one of those movies where you could watch it without the sound and still get what's going on.
So a silent film.
For the most part.
Yeah, maybe. We'd have to do it with one of his other films, though, because we know what happens in this one now.
I
Yeah.
feel like The Boy and the Beast isn't really one everyone's seen.
And we've all seen it.
Yeah, I think Anime Club.
Yep.
I love
Good
that
movie.
It's really good.
Well, just me.
No, I
Well,
haven't
you
seen
can
it
watch
either,
that without
CC,
sound
so-
at some point if we watch it. Oh, yeah. What else? We have anything else to say about this particular one?
Not really.
Oh, just a good heartfelt movie.
Yeah.
Some really cool like Neo World vibes.
Yeah. I feel like it goes without saying at this point, but don't ever make a platform that encompasses like literally everything in your society, because at the point that it breaks, it will break everything. So
Listen,
We're watching you, Zuck.
Metaverse can't even get itself off the ground.
no one's ever going to call it
There's-
metaverse anyway. So
There's a girl who does IT for it, and she just doxes the tickets she gets. It's literally the stupidest stuff. It's never gonna happen.
yeah, no. I don't know. Just like everyone always... I feel like it's always the same kind of thing, because we see this sometimes in movies where it's like, this one thing is going to make your entire life better, and the one thing always destroys everybody's life. Like, I don't think it was as bad in this movie as it sometimes is in other movies, because this is a little more upbeat and heart and like, more of an upbeat, happy movie. But yeah, don't rely on one thing. Unless it's people. Rely on people. That's a good theme from this.
Don't put all your internet eggs in one basket.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. So, we were talking about Miyazaki earlier, mostly because I was having those thoughts while I was watching this movie, and afterwards while I was like looking up a few things about it. So we were going to do a Miyazaki movie for next week. We actually brought it up. We're going to be watching Princess Kaguya. We talked about it a little bit here. It's a very good movie, and if you haven't seen it, check it out, because we're going to be talking about it, and come join us so that you can see our thoughts and maybe give us your thoughts as well. So we'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoy this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!